Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Jana Vallabha Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjani Ravanachari Yamuna Ravanachari Kunja Bihar Nitai Gaura Nitai Gaura Nitai Jai Gaura Nitai Prabhupada Sad Paramhamsa Parirajakarya Sto Paramhamsa Parirajakarya Stotra Ramacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Gaura Premanand Gauranga Algoy Srila Prabhupada Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirahe Nastaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nitibhaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Chapter entitled Liberation from the Illusionary Energy. Text 5. Gunair gunan sabhajunana Atma pradhopitita Prabhu Mananyamanyam shajayate Gunair gunana sabhuta Prabhu Prabhu Manamanyai idam ayate Gunair gunancha bhujinyana Manyamanya idam shistram. Please chant. Iha sajjate Gunai guna Prabhu Atmanam iha sajjate. Okay. Now we will Gunan, the modes, the object of senses. Saha, he, the individual living being. Bhunjanan, enjoying. Atmaha, by the Supreme Soul. Pratyoditaye, enlivened. Prabhu, the Master. Manyamanya, thinking. Idam, this. System, created body. Atmananam, as his own self. Iham, in this. Sajjate, he becomes entangled. Translation and purport by disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Translation. The individual living being, the master of material body, uses his material senses, which have been activated by Super Soul, to try to enjoy sense object composed of the three modes of nature: Thus, he misidentified the created material body with the unborn eternal self and becomes entangled in the illusionary energy of the Lord. Purport: in this verse, the living entity is called Prabhu, our Master, because he is a minute part and parcel of the Supreme Master, Krishna. Similarly, in the Bhagavad Gita 15.8, the Lord describes the living entity as Ishvara, the controller. Shreyam yad apnoti, Sriram yad apnoti, yad chapi urukritmeshvara, gunaritvai samrati, vayur gandha ivasvasat. The living entity in the material world carries his various conceptions of life from one body to another as the air carries aromas. Srila Prabhupada has commented in this purport: here the living entity is described as Ishvara, the controller of his own body. If he likes, he can change his body to a higher grade, and if he likes, he can move to the lower class. Minute independence is there. The change of body undergoes depend upon him. This statement confirms the word of Swamantra and Atma Prasidate in the text 3 of this chapter. If Supreme Lord were to interfere with the minute independence of the living entity, there would be no question of the living entities engaging in the loving service of the Lord, since love implies a spontaneous free choice by the lover. Here, the word Prabhu indicates that just as a child having received a toy from his father pedals on the sidewalk, imitating the father who drives an actual car, the living entity pedals around the material universe in the innumerable material bodies selected for him by the Supreme Lord from the assortment of 8,400,000 species. Thus, the living entity, infatuated with the false ego of material body, creates a fearful situation in which he undergoes repeated birth and death, as described in the statement of Bhayam Dvidideshetashat 11.2.3 Bhagavatam. Sri Jiva Goswami has given another explanation from this verse. If the word Prabhu is taken to mean the Supreme Lord, the word Guna can be understood to mean good qualities, since Guna can refer to the material bodies of nature or adorable qualities, as in the verse Yashyati Yastri Bhakti Bhagavati Akinchana Sarvai Gunai Tatra Samasritaha. In this verse would mean that the Lord, by his transcendental qualities guna, such as mercy, is able to release the transcendental qualities gunan of his pure devotees. Atma Prabodhithai would then indicate that surrender unto the Lord, who is the reservoir of all good qualities. The pure devotee the pure devotees become similarly endowed with the godly qualities. The word manyanam idam shastram atmanam would indicate that the Lord accepts the body, his pure devotee, to be on the same spiritual level as himself. As indicated in this verse, Acharyam mam vinyam naivedatam karachit. The Lord is attracted by the loving devotional service of his pure devotee and thus becomes entangled in the network of their loving relationship with him. For example, after the battle of Kurukshetra, when Krishna was leaving for his own city Dwaraka, the loving appeal of Maharaj Yudhishthira for weeks in Hastinapur. Similarly, when the elderly gopis of Vrindavan clapped their hands, Krishna would dance like a puppet, keeping time in their rhythm. In relation to this subject matter, Sri Jiva Goswami has quoted verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 9.4.8. Sadhavo hridayam manyam sadhuvam hridayam tvaham manyanyate na janati naham tebhyo magapi The pure devotee is always within the core of my heart, and I am always in the heart of a pure devotee. My devotee do not know anything but me, and I do not know anyone but them. According to Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the word Prabhu may also understood as follows. The word para indicates parakshena or exclusively, and bhu indicates bhavati or taking birth. Thus, Prabhu indicates prarakshena dve trigag adushri bhavanti saha, or repeatedly taking birth among the demigods, animals, human beings, and other form of life. Confirming this statement by Sri Jiva Goswami concerning the Lord attachment to the spiritualized body, the pure devotee, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur has quoted the following verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Diksha kale bhakta kare atma samarpana, sei kale Krishna tare kare atma sama. At the time of initiation, when the devotee fully surrenders unto the service of the Lord Krishna, accept him. Krishna accept him as to be a as good as himself. Seidheya kare tare siddhananda maya aparikta deha tare charana bhaya. When the devotee's body is thus transformed into spiritual existence, the devotee in the transcendental body renders service to the lotus feet of the Lord. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurulmitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadate Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Utapada Kamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sakritatam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishyakamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Harshavanusate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Ancha Kalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So in this verse, the Lord describes, so this verse, the 9 Yogendras ask questions, King Nimi asked questions to the Nava Yogendras. One of the question is, the answer is, how living entity can be happy in this material world? That is one of the questions. And there are a few questions regarding to the living entity. And to that answer, this is the answer to one of the question, where why living entity is getting entangled in this material world. I'll just describe in a few simple words. The living entity got a minute independence. Whether he can promote himself to the higher planets or lower planet. Whether he can promote himself into the higher living entity like human form, demigod form, even up to the Brahma. Or he can degrade himself into the lower species like animals. Like if you behave like an animal, you will take birth in like next life as animal. That's why in the scriptures we say that Ahara Nidra Bhayamaitunam cha Samanamidam Pasubhi Naranam Dharma Hivena Adhiko Vishesho Dharma Hivena. So what is happening within the animals and the living entities? Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. are common. As a human form of life, if we do the same thing, eating, sleeping, mating, defending, then Lord will, the material nature will say that if you want to do just eating, sleeping, mating, defending, why do you need the human form of life? You can take to the animal life, where eating, sleeping, mating, defending is free. Because human being, for eating he has to work, for sleeping he has to work, for mating he has to work. Animals, they don't have to work. Like last time I was listening to the one Maharaja's class, Radha Govind Maharaj class. He was saying that in the Bhagavatam there is a Krishna comparing trees, how they are sacrificing their life. They stand in the day, night, they don't take shelter of anything, they tolerate heat and light and rain, and still they give shade. But if a human being is uselessly utilizing his free will, just eating, sleeping, mating, and they animals, the plants, especially the trees, they curse, it seems. Why this fellow has got human form of life? He's just doing like animal behavior, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. It is a useless. And he's also roaming everywhere. But poor trees, they are standing in one place, and they are giving so much to the human form of life. Even a tree, if they think that they don't give anything, they give our life air, oxygen. Each tree, it may not give fruits, it may not give flowers, it may not give you shade. It giving you oxygen, it's generating oxygen. And among the trees and plants, uh, there are so many varieties of trees. You know this science, like in the daytime, the trees releases oxygen and takes carbon dioxide. We releases carbon dioxide, take oxygen. But in the night time, we release carbon dioxide and take oxygen. Like in the night time, sorry, we take carbon dioxide and we release oxygen. Correct? So, but they are helping us in the day-to-day life. Among the trees and plants, Tulsi Marani is even more higher. It 24 hours, it releases oxygen. And also it releases that oxygen where if the ozone layer, if it is get cracked, it goes and patches up. So that is the highest. So here the why I'm saying is that Krishna here in this verse, Lord is saying to us, all the living entities, that don't use your human form of life, getting entangled and by misidentifying, thinking that I am the enjoyer. And don't entangle yourself in the three modes of material nature. And when you become entangled in this illusional energy of the Lord, you just keep taking birth after birth. We don't know how much the seriousness is. That's why people in this material world think that okay, life is enjoyment. We have to enjoy. But there is enjoyment also, there is a limit. How long you can enjoy. When the body is nice, when the body is young and energetic, then only you can enjoy. When once it becomes old age, it cannot be enjoyed. In the fourth canto, King Puranjana, Narada Muni explains, in that section, he says that when a person, when a living entity becomes old, and what happens, there are so many disturbances, there are so many things that he tries to adjust himself and he doesn't get adjusted, and so many things that are being problematic for him. So and where it is very, very difficult to adjust himself. And in that section, he says that one of the thing is that the body is constantly attacked by the Kala Yavana, time. It is constantly attacked because when time and tide waits for no man, it is when it is it is like we don't realize that it is attacking, but when it is attacking, the person becomes weaker and weaker and weaker, and therefore one requires so many artificial things. In this, I read especially fourth canto, 28th chapter, fourth verse. The body has got 9 gates: 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 ears, mouth, rectum, and genitals. When one is harassed by the invalidity of old age, various diseases manifest at the gate of the body. For example, the eyes become dim, one requires spectacles, and the ears become too weak to hear directly, and therefore one requires hear aids. The nostrils are blocked by mucus, and one has to always sniff the medical bottle containing medicines. Similarly, mouth too weak to chew requires false teeth. The rectum also gives one trouble, and to evacuation process become difficult. Sometimes one has to take enemias and sometimes use surgical nostrils to accelerate the passing of urine. In this way, the city of Puranjana was attacked by the various gates by the soldiers. Thus, the old age of all the gates, body becomes blocked by so many diseases. One has to take help from so many medicines and surgical appliances. So, when Srila Prabhupada was passing his life, and all the disciples were sitting around him, and Srila Prabhupada was on his final moments few days ago. He was uh, dictating Srimad Bhagavatam and answering the questions of his disciples. And few disciples, they were thinking, Prabhupada is a pure devotee. How come all these things is happening to Prabhupada? And Prabhupada could understand this, and he told, Prabhupada told his disciple, see, don't think that this is not going to happen to you. It is going to happen to everyone. I am showing as an Acharya how to live in this material world, live from this material world. So Prabhupada is demonstrating how to live in this material world, how to live from this material world. So coming back to this session, so this is similarly, Shariram yad vapnoti, in the Bhagavad Gita also mentioned, the living entity carries a various concept of life from one body to another body. Just like a flower aroma, like when, in the morning we offer incense to the deities. How a person who is standing in the last line, he can feel the smell because the air carries. Similarly, our subtle body carries to the next life. Depends on what activity that you are doing. If you are doing the materialistic person, like eating, sleeping, mating, defending, and the same subtle body is also formed, like it could be an animal, it could be a tree, or it could be any lower species worm, and that will carry on to the next life. If a person is acting like a demigod and all good qualities, he will go to the next form. If a person is acting like a devotee, thinking always Krishna, doing all the time devotional service, knowing that his next life could be, depends on his sadhana, depends on his qualification, he could be going to the back to home, back to Godhead. At least, if he doesn't progress 100%, he will get a next life in a devotee's family. You know, that's why it said in Bhagavad Gita, Neha vikramanashoste pratyavayo na vidyate swalpam apyasa dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. This devotional service is indicating to Arjuna, whatever I am saying, this is considered as devotional service. It could save you from the greatest danger. Okay. The body undergoes changes, depends upon him. Finally, there could be no question of the living entity, if a Lord says that, if a Lord doesn't give you an independence, okay, he will make you, okay, do it whatever the Lord wants, then there would be no free, spontaneous choice of the lover. Love cannot be forced. Okay, and that is the difference between the love and the lust. There are differences between the love and the lust, where the love is giving all the time. We keep giving. There is a pastime, Dukhi, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. She is always serving. She doesn't take anything. And also, there are so many things that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Kolavecha Sridhar, he is always giving. And whereas lust is always taking, how can I enjoy? Lust doesn't mean only sex life, like between the man and woman. It could be anything. For me, it could be it could be a laptop, it could be a stand, it could be any post or any position. It could be anything. It could be a car, it could be anything. So that is the difference. Second difference is love is always appreciating. When you love, you keep always appreciating. And here on the other side, lust is expecting. I always need expectation of the results, expectation of recognition, expectation of the things that we are doing, expectation of the whatever that hard working. There is no expectation, only appreciating. Gopis never expect return love from Lord Krishna. They are always appreciating whatever they are giving. And whereas the love is a serving, you keep serving without any results. Whereas lust, enjoying, always want to enjoy. No matter other person is suffering. In the Mahabharata, especially in the Kurukshetra war, the difference between the Arjuna and Duryodhana is they both are fighting, they both are in the battlefield. The only difference is Duryodhana, though everybody in his own team, in his own side or on the other side, even if they're killed or even they die, whatever they happen, it doesn't matter to him. He wants to become a king. Whereas on the other side, Arjuna, even if he dies, he doesn't want to become a king. Even if he's saying that I will take the profession of beggar. I will take a sannyasi life. I will keep begging. And anyways, I have been practicing from last 14 years. I have been very nicely doing that. So even if I beg at the cost of sacrificing this war, because I don't want to kill my grandfather, I don't want to kill my friends, relatives, teacher. Let me die. They become a king. So that is the serving mode. And the love is long lasting. It is there eternal. That's why eternal love of Godhead, we say. And the lust is immediate. It is temporary. And the last one is love is selflessness. Here, selfishness. So there are different, there are similar. Love is giving, appreciating, serving. long-lasting selflessness. Lust is taking, expecting, enjoying, immediate jerk and selfishness. So, we should understand that what we need. Otherwise, it could be daily how much we are doing seva and how much whatever we are doing, it should be selflessness. So love is all about giving, appreciating, and what you can do to serve, and it is long-lasting selflessness. And is our interaction with this material world driven by lust or love? We have to answer this question. So, how much in our daily life conscious in the lust, in the frame of mind, and how much is our daily life conscious of love frame in our mind? So, the more we go towards lust, the more we become frustrated. And the more we go towards love, the more we become fulfilled and happy. So, why I'm saying is that independence, the little independence, whatever we got it, we have to always use properly. And just like another very nice example in this purport it is given, just like if a father comes to a home, bring the candies or chocolates or ice cream, give it to his kid, and again father asks, can you give him one? If a kid says, no, 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 this is mine, then immediately father says, you rascal, I gave you all chocolates, you are not giving even one. It is not that father is craving, it is not that father is tempted by chocolate or ice cream. It is father is testing us whether he is giving or not. If a child gives without asking, without eating, the child gives before eating to father, immediately father feels so happy. Oh, see, my child is giving even without asking. So then here our real father is Krishna. What is he asking? He is not asking what we cannot give. He is asking the few simple things. Patram, Pushpam, Phalam, Toyam. Anywhere in this material world, any person, anyhow, in any condition can offer this. Whether he is a poor or rich, the rich country or poor country, any poor country person does not have, he can just offer water, correct? He can offer flowers, he can offer fruits. If not fruits, at least leaves, tulsi leaves or flowers. So our real father is asking, offer these four things with love. Krishna says, you just give him just a little sugar to the Krishna, he will be more happy, he will be jumping. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when you offer it is said in Chaitanya Charitamrita, one of the, somewhere in Madhya Leela, like if a person offers a flower to the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he thought that it's something to eat and he keeps in his mouth and dances because you are giving such a... So that free choice we have to use properly. Here the car, and the father has given a toy car to his child, and he is imitating his father. Similarly, the living entity is imitating, changing the innumerable material bodies, traveling 8,400,000 of species. And the false ego thinking that I am the doer. So another explanation, totally contradictory explanation, is given by Sri Jiva Goswami. What he says that, Sri Jiva Goswami says that this verse can be addressed as a glorifying the Lord. Prabhu, the word Prabhu can be taken the Supreme Lord because he is a Supreme Master. And the guna, in the first para we see the guna means bounding the living entity, rope, gunas, modes of material nature. But here, guna means good qualities, which Krishna is always bound by good qualities. Yasyat bhakti bhagavati akinchanai sarvai gunai tatra samarsita sura. The he is bound by Lord transcendental qualities. And also, same thing, these transcendental qualities applies for the pure devotees. We see pure devotees always bound by these good qualities. But when we take the shelter of the pure devotee, we will also get those qualities and accept him, the same level as spiritual levels Krishna. And in the same continuing, so we become the puppet of the Lord Krishna's hand. Srila Prabhupada, when he was traveling in Jaladuta, coming from India to US, in that ship, he wrote a poem, Nachao Krishna, Nachao Krishna. And it means you can make me dance, and you can make me chant, you can make me whatever you've done. In the Sishtastakam, Amanina Manadena Kirtanaya Sadahari. That same thing, correct? The meaning is the same. Asisya vapadaratam pinastumam. You kick me, you embrace me, you do me whatever you like. Same mode, Srila Prabhupada, he wrote this poem. Nachao Krishna, Nachao. So we can become hand, puppet, like a dance, whatever Krishna likes. Similarly, elder gopis of Vrindavan clapped their hands. When they're clapping their hand timingly, Krishna would dance. So that is where Krishna wanting that relationship with us. Krishna never wants, like a controller or dictator, master. Krishna wants to be dance in your hands, that relationship. That's why this verse he says, Sadhavo hridayam mayam, sadhu hridayam toham, mat anyate na janati naham tebhyo mahanaga. The pure devotee is always within my core of the heart. I am always in their heart. I don't know anything about me, but I don't know anything about anyone other than my pure devotee. So that level one has to upgrade himself. Then only we can able to enjoy the loving relationship with the Lord. And that's why we have to get to that. When you keep the spiritual goals like this, then we can able to progress in the spiritual life. Otherwise, what will happen? We will be caught up in this state, doing all the things that we are doing, material world, eating, sleeping, meeting, defending. But the Lord wants us to get the level of the pure devotee, not remain as where we are now. So we have to come out that, and we have to ask ourselves how we can become progress every day. So that is what he says. Actually, the day when we become initiated, Diksha Kale Bhakte Kare Atma Samarpan, Sei Kale Krishna Tare Kare Atma Samar. So the day when we receive the initiation, when devotee becomes fully surrendered unto service of the Lord, Krishna accepts him as good as himself. So the day when we become initiation, we feel very fresh and new, everything is joy and everything is blissful, happy. Over the years of time, it will become normal, correct? But why it is happening? Because the day when we become initiation, it is like receiving mantra, receiving mercy, parampara, not only Guru mercy, all the paramparas, Guru Shishya parampara, all the acharyas blessing on that day. That's why we receive, when we chant on that day, it will become so fresh, so enlightening, so blissful. So I remember when I took an initiation, we were asked to chant total 32 rounds. Before initiation 16, after initiation on 16. So when we do that, then we feel so presence of Krishna. Correct? So that's why it is said chanting 16 rounds is minimum. We can chant more than the love of Godhead flows. So that's where, when time of initiation we have to become fully surrendered, and not only that, initiation is not just end of our spiritual life. Okay, now I took initiation, now I can do whatever I want and I don't have to do anything. No, that is the beginning. So every day, the following the four regular principles, chanting 16 rounds, doing devotional service, then that will add to our initiation. If we are not following those things, then we are not initiated. So then when one body become transformed into spiritual existence, then the devotee in that transcendental body renders loving service to the lotus feet of Krishna. So here is the thing that we have to do practice regularly, seriously, with thinking that taking the difference between the love and the lust and using our minute independence in the service of the Lord. I'll pause here. Any questions or comments? If no, we can close. Oh, Charles.
Thank you for the class, Prabhu. The last thing you said, my new independence. It's easy to engage in material things. How can we direct that independence in the right way? Direct that independence in the right way, and get the most out of our independence. Directed in a spiritual way instead of because we have to do some directed in some material way. So how can we direct it in a spiritual way, the way we should direct it?
Yeah, the thing is that we have to do things that we supposed to do, and we have to do in a right way, but we should not expect the result as we want it. Of course, as you think, okay, for example, I am giving a class, Srimad Bhagavatam class. This is my duty. I am doing right way. I have to do whatever with my limited knowledge, whatever limited realization I have, I will do it. But I should not expect that there should be a or there should be in the like what you say in social media or in YouTube, there should be so many views, so many likes. That should not. I should give it for thing, then that will become a lust. As I says, expecting, on here appreciating. At least one person today came for Bhagavatam class. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj says, if nobody is there in the class, preach to the four walls. Correct? At least we can take a book, preach to these plants, read one para. So we have to do it it is not gonna come immediately. I'm saying just easier said to be then done again. It is not gonna come easy. We have to practice, keep telling our mind, okay, don't expect, don't expect, don't expect, don't expect. Then one day it will come. But if you're expecting, then that is lust. Whatever I'm doing, I'm expecting, result should be like this. We can pray for the results. We should do endeavor, we should do our 100% effort doing any activity, whether you are washing parts, whether you are giving class, whether you are deity worshipping, or whether you are washing toilets. We have to do 100% effort. But we should not expect anything. That is not gonna come overnight. It will take some time. At least for me. I don't know if you may get immediately, then that is good. But you should not expect immediate results. Oh, I am washing toilet, nobody is seeing, nobody is appreciating. Do it. It will take some time with association of devotees. Okay.
This says when Prabhupada initially preaching came here in the US and preaching, giving classes, giving lectures. So no one was there around. This is only mental type person, physical mental person was sitting. Then Prabhupada was so happy and he wrote a letter to his Guru Maharaj. That Maharaj, there is a very wonderful person, every day coming, listen very carefully. So Guru Maharaj, Prabhupada's Guru Maharaj, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was so pleased with Prabhupada. Oh, you are doing nice job. So, but after that we can see how ISKCON, Prabhupada established ISKCON and how many people are around in the world following his lecture.
Yes, good point.
Nice.
We'll stop here. Thank you very much for your discussion. Grantaraj Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Itai Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna.